Hello everybody! In today's video I'm going to do part 1 of my room tour. So this video I'm just going to be showing each one of my saltwater tanks and quickly going over them. So I really hope you guys enjoy. Here is my 20-gallon no refugium, no protein skimmer tank. This tank I only do a water change every 2 weeks and it survived off 2 years from that. And it's really thrived. So here's what the reef's looking like. A couple things are down right now that I'll mention off rip here. Like the clove polyps on the back wall here aren't looking so good. I did my water change yesterday and they'll spring back really soon. Also, some of these rhodactis mushrooms are also not looking too good. They'll spring back soon too. But if you're wondering about all the corals I keep in this tank, I'll throw an image up real quick and have text over each one of the corals to show you what is what. I really like everything in this tank. I'll quickly also do a skim for you guys, but everything in this tank has been growing beautifully for me. And I just can't get enough of salt water. There's so much cool stuff to look at. Every time I look at this tank, I feel like I can find a new creature or something. It's crazy. But quickly, I'm going to be going over my fish, and yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed that. This is my Purcula clown. I have a pair of them in here. They are the first fish I got for this tank, was this pair, and they've been doing really well in here. The guy that they just kind of snapped at is a damsel, and it's a honey damsel, I believe. So I really like these guys. It's kind of like a dwarf angel, but for small tanks. Damsels usually get a really bad rap, but I feel they're really good if you have a tank and you put them in last, where everyone already has their footing. You can really have a nice looking damsel. Like, a lot of them look beautiful, but they just get overlooked because everyone thinks they're so aggressive. Here is my target mandarin, if it can focus. Here he is. Target mandarins have been the easiest, in my opinion, to care for. I've tried scooter blennies, I've tried all those things, and the only guy that I've actually successfully kept is this target mandarin. It started eating off the bat frozen foods, and since then it's been really healthy. I love the target mandarin. It's also the prettiest, in my opinion, of all the mandarins, so that's really cool. But another thing I have in this tank is a Watchman goby with a pistol shrimp pair in the back there. I'll try to put up a clip of my pistol shrimp in this tank. He's really cool. I just don't have any footage of him out at this moment. And I keep some cool inverts, like the conch snail that has a hermit crab riding on top of him. And the hermit crab I just showed. I keep banded trocha snails only. They're my favorite. I also keep stomatella snails. Usually people don't really know much about stomatella snails, but they are amazing at algae control. I see one there, but I'll have to show a picture of them now. Usually they're not sold in shops, but if you can find a shop that has just a good breeding population in their tanks, because a lot of times that's what I see, I always ask for stomatella snails. They are an amazing part of your cleanup crew. They eat all types of algae under the sun, and they're just worker bees. They're also really cool looking, almost like a sea cucumber. Also, I have a bristle star in this tank that always likes to chill out in this corner, and I have my barnacle blennies, which are actually my most personable and favorite fish. The barnacle blennies are absolutely gorgeous, and I recommend anyone, if you can find a barnacle blenny, pick it up. They are small and they are amazing. These barnacle blennies have so much personality. Every time I put food in the tank, they zoom up out of the tank for it. And they have really slick bodies. So they kind of look like almost little eels. I think they're the perfect nano fish. This right here is the 10-gallon no refugium, no protein skimmer tank that I run in my room. So this tank was actually started because I had a lot of extra corals and I was just learning how to frag. So I decided to turn this 10-gallon tank on the side of my 40-gallon vivarium here into a saltwater tank. And it's been running so well. I actually got this tank just so I could show off a couple different corals that I used to love. But I mean, I shouldn't say used to love, I still love them, and I love them more ever since I got them, but I just never kept them in my other tanks because of their growth rate. And that is the pulsing xenia that you see back here, and this coral, it's not a xenia, it's actually a type of clove polyp, but both of those have such cool flow to them. And it's actually what really got me into saltwater at first, was the flow of every coral. So that's kind of what I really encapsulated in this tank. As you can kind of see, the Duncans getting kind of sprayed here, my green star polyps, all of the xenia and them in the back. Then I have a branching hammer there. I will put up on the screen a quick image of the tank with all of the corals' names on it, just in case anyone's actually curious of what I keep in here. But quickly I'll go over the 3 fish I have. I have a tiger goby, a geometric pygmy hawkfish, and a orange stripe prawn goby in this tank. I also keep stomatella snails. Again, I said a little bit about them before, but again, keep them in every tank. Coolest snail. I also have a Halloween hermit crab in this tank. He's right here. And I also keep astrea snails in this tank as opposed to banded trocas. And that's only because I kept astrea snails when I first got into the hobby and found out about troca snails later. So I just ended up throwing them in here for algae control, as this tank does have a little bit of algae buildup after time. But as long as I keep up to water changes, it doesn't really have that many hiccups. I almost forgot to mention that I also keep a snapping shrimp in this tank, and he's really cool. I never really get to see him, but he does live right back there, and it's really hard to get a shot back there, but you can kind of see his claws. I have one image of that tiger snapping shrimp, and I'll put it up now. But another thing I have in this tank that is really cool is a leopard snail. So I've been told that these are predatory, and I also only have this clip here. But I have not seen that, as I've kept them with astrea snails and different things like that, and they haven't done anything yet. But super cool snail, and it really finishes the tank in my opinion. Usually he doesn't actually come out, but I'm actually able to show you guys. This is the leopard snail. And lastly, to finish off this video, I'm going to be talking about my 40-gallon mixed reef tank that I have. So this tank was given to me by another hobbyist. I used to work at a pet store, and through that job, I actually had a lot of trust in the community, and a local hobbyist that was moving away decided that I could be the one to take care of his tank. So this is around a 7-year-old system at this point. And all of the corals that you see here were given to me, except for the Anacropora and a devil's hand coral. Everything else was given to me by the hobbyist, and I am so grateful to have a tank like this at this age. I would have never been able to get something like this, and it's just awesome to be able to keep. But in this video, I'm going to be going over the fish that I keep in here, and also some of the inverts, and talking about the tank a little bit. So, like I said, I don't run a refugium on this tank. I do have a protein skimmer on the back, and I have a whole overflow box. It's a whole system that I was given, and this is the only tank that I also run an auto top off on. And the back of the tank also grows Chio. So, all that's pretty cool and helps the system kind of run and sustain itself. But the fish that I keep in here are also really neat. So I have a pair of Bangdai cardinals here. These guys are really cool, very active feeders. I'll try to get some photos of that up. I have my pair of clownfish that I was actually given by the pet store I worked at. These guys are over 7 years old, to my understanding, and I actually don't know what type of clownfish they are. Beautiful though, they bite my hand every time I go in the tank, and it really hurts. This is my Royal Grama, and they're my absolute favorite fish in this tank. To be honest, they have a really nice personality, and the colors are just unmatched for an easy nano fish. So I always recommend Royal Gramas. And then I have 2 other fish in here. I have a Starry Blenny. here, and he does really good with algae control. There is not a speck of algae that ever actually touches this tank except for the glass, and I just use my scraper every week and scrape it off, but that's all I really have to do for algae. And I also have a giant Watchman goby with a pistol shrimp pair in this tank. So all of that is really cool, but I also have some cool inverts in here. Like, I have 3 Austria snails. I also have a tiger serpent star. I also have zombie snails in this tank and an emerald crab. But a lot of those guys are elusive. I don't know how many clips I'll be able to put up. And another thing I keep in this tank is giant hermit crabs, kind of like this zebra hermit crab in the back here. I really like zebra hermit crabs. They have one of the bigger claws, and that looks really cool in my opinion. They're actually my favorite hermit crab. A lot of people say that they kind of target snails more than others, like the blue legs and red legs, but I really haven't seen that, and they've been really well. They also get bigger, which I really like. But quickly, I'll also throw up an image of all of the corals and the names that I know. There's also one coral in this tank that I actually don't know the name of, and I'll be asking if anyone knows that coral. I will put a picture of it up now. But the rest of these corals in this tank, I will try to name to the best of my ability. I don't know everything as I didn't buy them. The corals in this tank mainly were given to me by the other hobbyist. But with that, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a lot longer than some of my other videos, and it kind of went over all 3 of my saltwater tanks. So this is going to be the first part to the room tour that I'm making. I just realized that the video would have been way too long if I didn't put it into 2 parts. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.